welcome to the Archdiocesan email and tech offerings. Mike, the floor is yours.
Okay, great.
Welcome,
everyone. Yeah, I'm going to take over sharing now. Welcome, everyone. As Clarissa said, my name is Mike Wilson. I'm with the IT department, and I have been working for the last year or so with the Office 365 team. Before that, I was leading the support section of IT. My main focus now is on training and doing support. People have O365 suite and everything that goes with that. If you have questions, feel free to put those in the meeting chat, and I'll stop occasionally and we'll see what if anyone has any questions. Or you can raise your hand if it's something you'd like answered right away. All right, let's get started. Let's talk about the email accounts that everyone has now. Last year, the diocese decided that it was important to have a way to securely communicate with everyone. And the way they decided to do that was by giving everyone an Office 365 Outlook account. The account, in addition to giving you a secure way to talk to and receive information from the diocese, it also allowed us to set up a secure intranet site. And that an intranet site, for those that you don't know, is a site. It's like the intranet, but it's set up so that it can only be accessed by those that you want. And for us, that's everyone in the Archdiocese. And our intranet account site is called Izzy, and it's named after Saint Isidore, who's patron saint of the internet. You access the Izzy site by just going to izzy.archchicago.org. And the site, this is the site here I brought up, and it's composed of several different components, as you can see here along the top menu bar. Ignore the edit, you won't see that. It's only there because I have rights to edit the page. Let's start with the main page here, which is set up so that at the top you have all the most up-to-date and important, pertinent articles. As you can see here, we have Pope Francis's letter, information about vaccinations, and some information that's coming directly from the diocese. Below that, these are resources that to help you, and they're broken down. These four here are all ones that are considered very pertinent right now. And you have the school operating plan, for example, religious ed, and coronavirus information. Below that are ones that, and these may change as time goes on. But these here, below that, the resources to help your day, these are pretty much static, and they cover a wide range of things that people are looking for more often, so that they're set up so that you don't have to do a search. And for us, the two that are the most important are your Office 365 portal and 365 training. Let's just jump to the training here really quick. These are offerings from our IT department of upcoming trainings, and these are always kept up to date. So you should check it out every so often, because we keep this as up to date as possible, and it includes information about upcoming classes, and also links to sign up for those classes. And you can see we have a class coming up tomorrow. We have two actually, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, on Outlook web client, because we've had quite a few people at our parishes and schools that have asked for that. So that's the next one coming up, and we have some Teams training coming up later in the year, and in December, we have forms and Outlook training. And you would just click on the title, and it gives you information on where and when, and a brief outline of the class, and then a link to sign up for the class. Let's jump back to Izzy. Before I move on to the Office 365 portal information, let's just talk briefly about the other topics here. First, these are frequently asked questions, and it's set up so that you don't have to search. Sorry, we're having some slowness here, but down by questions such as HR questions, what do you do if the media calls, how do you make purchases, your payroll, your benefits, jobs, parking, that sort of thing. The third option here, roles. These are set up so that there's sections devoted to certain groups of employees. Like this is just basic employee information. This is information for hiring managers, and this section is para-shop directors and business managers. You can, there will be more of these as time goes on, but these are the starting ones. If you go to these pages, we'll just do employees. You can see that they're broken down with information strictly on that group. Here are quick links to information such as employee handbook, benefits. The middle is documents that people are accessing more often. This will change as people ask documents and possibly with this. So this is one that's being looked for mostly at this time. And it may change as more people are looking maybe for their W-4 forms. As more people look for those, they'll move up to the top. And this is very quick questions that will lead you directly to the information that you're looking for. And then we also have the last section here is Priest Corner. And this is devoted with help, and you can see they've laid it out so it looks a lot like the main page, but these are all topics and information that that would be of benefit to our priests. Let's jump back to our main page and let's talk about Office 365. Also with your email to the entire basic Office 365 suite online. And you can get to that two ways. You can either go to Busy and click the Office 365 portal link, or you can go to get to there also by typing portal.art.office.com. And as we wait for this to load, you won't see this delay when you go to the site. It's doing a presentation recording, so it's going to be a little slow. All right, the first time you go to the page, you'll probably be asked to log in, and you would log in using your Arch email account and password. And once you do that, it will log you in. You can see here I'm logged in. And this is typically the page you will see. These are, and this is broken up into sections also. You can see here at the top, these are documents that I've worked on in the short past. And then below that, it also gives you the same view in a list form. These are recent documents. Pinned would be documents that I've pinned so that they come up all the time. Documents that are shared with me. These are all ones that someone else has created, but they've shared with me. And Discover are just random documents that the AI thinks you may find interesting. Okay, now to access your specific Office 365 applications, along the left border here, you can see they're listed, starting with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, OneDrive, OneNote, SharePoint, Teams. I have a few more here because I have access to a few more programs than folks would that have the free license. But if you're looking for an app that isn't showing up on your menu, you would just go to All Apps and click that. And it'll give you a list of everything that's available to you with a short description. If you hover over it, it'll give you a description on what that application is. And so you can access it from here also. All right. Let's jump back and let's talk about specific apps. You can see here, as I said, the apps are all listed here. And the ones you wind up using mostly are Word, probably in Excel, Outlook, maybe OneDrive, and Teams. The versions that are on the web are almost exactly the same as the versions that you download and install on your desktop at home. I prefer these on the web simply because when Microsoft pushes new changes, they come usually to the web version first. So you'll always get the most up-to-date version of the application that you're looking to use. You don't have to do any updates on your own. It's all on the back end, so you don't have to worry about doing installs, or an install is going to kick off when you start up. It's all on the back end so that when you start the application, you know that you're always using the most up-to-date. And they're set up, they look a little bit different than the desktop client, but all the versions kind of share the same outlook. When you're looking at it, they all look pretty much the same layout. Your top, you can choose a new document, and it gives you some styles to pick from. These are the ones I use a lot, so they show up there. And then the ones that you have been working on lately will show up under recommended. And then, of course, you have your list of recent documents that you've opened and worked on, and any that you pinned or that were shared with you, just as I showed you on the main page. And the nice thing about this is when you open it and you start the application, it looks like you're working on the desktop. As I said, the abilities are almost the same. The only real difference is you're working on this in a browser. And as you're working, it saves automatically. You don't have to worry about doing saves on your own, or if something happens and your PC crashes, you don't have to worry that you've lost anything, because every change that you make to the document is automatically saved. And it's saved to your OneDrive so that you can access it right away. And you can see that when you start a new document, it opens up in a new tab. So you can always jump back to your main page. You don't have to worry about closing this and losing your place in your work, simply because you can just jump back to a previous tab. And this works the same with Excel or PowerPoint. The layout is all the same. So you don't. So once you learn where something should be in the layout, it's going to be the same no matter which application you're using. Now with Outlook, It's a little bit different because it's geared to look just like your Outlook client. See your inbox, you have your favorites, you can get to, you have your preview page just like you would in the desktop client, send and receive mail here. And actually, I found that when I send and receive mail from my Outlook on the web client here, I tend to get it faster than I do on my desktop client. I'm not sure why that is, but it always seems to come here before it hits my desktop client. And it's laid out the same where you can access your email, your calendar, people, your contacts, just like in the desktop client. Okay. All right. As I was mentioning, everything is saved to your OneDrive, and your OneDrive has so that you can access them from anywhere. And if you're using an Archdiocesan desktop or laptop that's running our image that we've set up, anything you do locally on those machines will be backed up automatically to your OneDrive, as long as you're saving to either your desktop or your My Documents. And if you have a problem, say you're working on a document and you're like, and it saves something and you're not, oh no, I've lost whatever I was working on. You can also go through and find earlier versions of that document that you can restore. So you can go back, say, I made a mistake on something and I lost an entire section. Well, rather than going ahead and having to recreate it, I can just look at the version history and find a copy that has the information that I want on it and restore that. Okay, I've thrown a lot of stuff at you. Are there any questions that anyone has? No questions? All right, I will move along then. With this, you can also find, jump back to home here. You can also, if you're looking for an application, you can use the All Apps here, or you can go up to this little grid that's next to the words Office 365. Click that. This will show you all the apps that you have access to. These are the ones that are used most often, or again, you can go to All Apps and it will show you everything that's available to you. You can also get to the Izzy page from here as well. Now,
Mike,
yes.
Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt you. There were a number of questions in the chat. So if you want me to raise those now, or if you want to wait a few minutes.
We can go through them now.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so starting with the first one, early on in the presentation, you had said that when you say everyone in the Archdiocese, regarding these resources, do you mean just the staff?
Yeah, anyone who is a paid Arch employee, whether they're part-time or full-time, has an account, so they have access to these resources.
Great. Okay. And then I saw on your, you stopped screen sharing for a minute and then you saw the questions in the chat there.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there were a few more if you scroll through. Thanks for addressing those.
Sure. Another question is, can you have both the desktop and web client on your computer with this license? No, unfortunately, if you're at a parish or a school, your license only covers the web client. If you'd like to have to upgrade the license so that you can also have the desktop clients as well, that is an additional charge that we can help you with. But I believe it's about $24, $25 a year per person. If you're interested in that, you could just reach out to the our service center, and they'll be happy to work with you on that. Here we have, what is the difference between private and shared on your OneDrive file? Private means that it's only you can access that particular file. If you want to share it with someone, you can make it a shared file. Let's see if I can bring that up. Okay, here we go. Just find a file here that we'll do a test on, and you would do that by clicking the ellipse. Anytime you're looking for an action in a Microsoft application and you don't see what you're looking for, always look for the ellipse, the three dots, and then just click that, and it will come up with a list of more actions that you can do. So for this, we can click share, and then I can add people that I want to share this with. And I can set it so that anyone with the link can view it, only the people that I say can view it, or anyone in the Archdiocese can view it. It's up to you to decide how you want to share, if you want to share. I'm going to say specific people, and I can say they can also either just view it, or I can allow them to edit the document as well. And I can also block them downloading, or I can allow them to download the okay, and to share, you would just put in someone's name and just start typing. Say I can share it with Sarah, and I can add more than I want, and then I could send it to them and with just the link, or I can send them into their Outlook email account, and they will get a notice that I've shared a document with them. Is that clear, or would you like me to explain a little bit more? Okay. The last question here was, can you delete items off the OneDrive? And yes, you can. To do that, you would go to the document that you want. You would highlight that by clicking in the little, you'll see as you highlight each of the files, there's a little check circle there. You can put a check in that. And then from here, you could also do sharing. You could just copy a link, download it to locally to your hard drive, or you can delete and you can rename. So you can pretty much do everything there. Or again, you can click the ellipses, and it gives you a few more options, but all the ones that were across the top here also. Okay, unless there are more questions, I would like to move along and show you a couple of sites that have more training. In the meeting chat, if you scroll back up to the top, I've included several links that you'll find helpful. If you're looking for information this is a good place to go. If you're looking for recordings that we've done for previous training sessions, if you go to our Microsoft streaming site, here, these are, you can upload files, videos here. Again, you would need to log in with your username, email account, and password to access this. But we also have a couple of channels here that deal with training. The Microsoft On-Site Training channel is one that you may want to take a look at. This has recordings of previous accounts that we've emailed. If you're looking for the links, it's all the way up at the top of the meeting chat. I can repost it again down towards the bottom if that's helpful. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Okay, back to this. As you can see, we have previous recordings of previous trainings that we've done, and you'll notice we're in the process of going through these and editing them down to cut out, chit chat and break them down into sections so that they're easier to find what you're looking for. This is the first one here. If you look at the notes here, we have timestamps, so you can just go directly to each of those sections, and we're going to be working to adding more of those as time goes on. Okay, I see there's another question. No question. Okay, in addition to stream, I also posted some links to training videos. This is a great, these are great videos. These deal mostly with teams. If you're looking for just a very quick video on a specific topic, collaborating or uploading and finding files in teams, that sort of thing. These are all about 2 or 3 minutes, and they give you a very quick overview of that topic. And also, here is a more general one. This is the support. This is a support site for Microsoft. And this covers a lot of pretty much all applications that we've been talking about. And you can just go to the specific application you have questions about. And it gives you topics that you can look for. And with topics here, you can do searches based on the questions you're looking for, that sort of thing. And if you ever run into a problem and you're not really sure, you just can't figure it out, or something's not working correctly for you, maybe you can't get into your account, the best thing to do is to reach out to the service center. And you can do that either via the phone number, 312-534-5227, or you can email itservicecenter@archchicago.org. I will tell you that if you email, it takes a little bit longer to get a response, simply because those emails go into a monitored account, which they only check once or twice an hour. So you may not get an immediate response, but somebody will open a ticket and reach out to you. And I'm also always available. And you can reach out to me either on Teams or by email. my email address here in the chat as well. Are there any questions that anyone has? No? All right. Well, that sums everything up for me. I will be staying on after the meeting if you think of something you'd like to ask. Yes, Angela.
Yep, perfect.
Hi, Mike. One of the things in the email that said that invited us to this was how to link your Arch Chicago account to another email account. And that's something that I feel like I know I'm struggling with, going in and out of my parish account, which is a Google account, back and forth, or those kind of questions. Is there a way that you can kind of highlight that?
Well, there are two ways that you can approach this. The easiest way is to set up forwarding from your Google account to your Arch account, because for security reasons, they have it set up where you cannot do the opposite. You cannot auto forward from your Arch account to any outside account. So that's one way if you set up forwarding to your Arch account. The other way, and
how do you do that?
Well, it varies from service to service, but all services usually have a method. You could set up an auto forward rule, and you could just say forward all email from that I receive, like in your Google account, to your Arch Chicago email account, and then it will auto forward that to you. I don't know off the top of my head how to do that because I don't use a Google account, but I'd be happy to look into it for you and reach out to you and give you a hand with that.
Thanks. I will be in touch.
Okay. But there's also another way you can do this too, if you like. Let me share my desktop again. And if you, all modern browsers have what's called either a private window or something along those lines, something that I'm not sure what Google has another name for it, but in Edge, it's called in private. And if you log into your account here, it doesn't log you. It treats this as a private session, so it won't cause you problems with your Google account. You don't have to log out, log in. Or if your parish or school has its own Microsoft account, this way you don't have to log out of that and log into your email account. If I go to say here, it's going to prompt me to log in, and it will treat this session as if I'm on a different computer. So say I could log, if I had my own personal Microsoft account, I could log into it here, and I would not have to log out of my other account. So that's another way that some people handle that. And if anyone has questions about that, I'd be happy to, again, sit down with them and help them out. And I see.
Angela, your hand is still raised. Would you like me to lower it, or did you still have a question, or do you know how to lower it?
I will lower it. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
And Christine posted some information in the chat on Google on forwarding. But again, Angela, I'd be happy to sit with you and walk through it, as well as with anyone else.
Let's see. That If no one else has any questions, that really is the bulk of our presentation today. I apologize for not being so quick on the chat. I keep thinking it's going to show up, and I forget that I have to toggle back and forth. So, for those that had questions for a while, I was trying to catch up there. Do know that Mike is a great resource, and he continues to ask all kinds of questions of me, or I ask all kinds of questions of him. It can go the other way too, I suppose. And he and the rest of the IT team in the Archdiocese really want to help us kind of during this virtual time. So do not be afraid or bashful to reach out. I also know that they will put on different workshops and webinars upon request. And so if there's more that you want to continue to know more about or think we should do a webinar or a workshop on, feel free to email myself or send a message to Mike. And I know he's got a team of people that are doing this as well. Let me jump back over to the chat.
Yeah, there's a question that just popped up, Clarissa.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Do volunteers get access to O365 if they get an Arch account? If you request an account for a volunteer, yes, they will get access to the same O365 programs. When you request a volunteer account, we'll ask that you give us their first name, last name, the cost center that they're going to be working for, who they report to, and how long you need them to have the account, because volunteer accounts aren't open-ended. They are straight up given a time limit, and it depends on what they're volunteering for. Like for folks for RE, those usually are set to end at the end of the fiscal year. But it's entirely up to you. If you only need it for a couple of months, that's fine. But yes, to answer your question, they do have access to all the O365 applications. Deborah asks, how can employees get more information about their Arch accounts? Deborah, could you give me a little bit more, or if it was Kenneth who asked originally, more information on what you're looking for?
Yes, I'll let Kenneth ask that. I was just repeating his question.
Yeah, it's sure. So there's a number of parish and school employees, I think mostly parish employees, who they're not aware that they have an Arch account. And if maybe we can post the IT email or their phone number so they can reach out to them and say, okay, I'm an Arch employee and I need access to my password, for instance.
Yeah, the best thing to do in those, if you're not sure if you have an account, or if you're not sure what your password is, or you need help, the best thing to do is reach out to the IT service center. That's manned 24 hours a day. Again, that information's in the chat, but I can give it to you again. The phone number is 312-534-5227, or you can email the IT Service Center at itservicecenter, all one word, at archchicago.org. The folks there would be very happy to help you.
Any other questions? I don't know, Leanne, did you have a question? I don't, it looks like you might be typing. Oh, there it is. Okay. If we set up Arch accounts for our volunteers, catechists, would Teams work for any email account?
If they have a volunteer account, it's exactly as if they're a paid employee as far as the software is concerned. But you can add folks to a team with any email account. As you're adding, they'll be added as a guest member if it's not an Arch Chicago email account. But you add them like you would any other person, but you would have to type out, instead of their name, you have to put in their full email address. So it could be, if it was for me, it could be Mike Wilson at google.com. You'd have to type out the whole thing and then hit add, and it will add them as a member, a guest member. You can't make them an owner of a team, but you can make them a guest member. And they should have pretty much all the rights, but yes, you are correct. They would have less access to some of the team functions. The ones that are based on security, like accessing files, they may have problems accessing a file that's in the file section, but not one that you share during a meeting. That they should have access to. But they would have about 90% of the same functions and access that someone with an Arch account would have.
Let's see. Leanne, did you just raise your hand? If so.
I did. So I had set up, I had actually asked this question during the summer before our RE program started to get them access to an account from the Arch, just in, but it was kind of complex. So I'm actually surprised that you guys said that we could do this now. So I don't know if it changed. I don't remember reading anything.
Yeah, it did change. There was discussion because if they have an Arch account, it gives them rights to a lot of Arch employee only information. So there was some debate going back and forth, but after talking to the different departments, it was decided, yes, we're going to allow these accounts because they're needed for people to be able to do their job. So that change was made, and it was made after everything started happening with COVID, because we started loosening up the security a little bit, simply to make it so that folks could do their work. Forced to work remotely in a lot of instances, and for that to work well, they need accounts. So that decision was made not too long ago, about 7 months ago, maybe.
Oh, yeah. No, this came up like more recent within the last couple of months. But at any rate, we did set up a Gmail account for our various grade levels from our parish. But I'm just getting a lot of complaints from our volunteers. And again, they're volunteers. So you never want to, cross that bridge. But they are just like, it's just another email account that I have to monitor. And I guess my question is, if we set each one of them up with an Arch account, so if they do their virtual session with Teams, it doesn't matter what the parent email that they would be sending the Teams link to, it would automatically work because the parents would not have to have Teams, correct?
Correct.
Microsoft. Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. To attend, you would just send it the invite to their full email account again. So username at yahoo.com. Then it will send them a link, and then they can use that to join as a guest.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And as far as requesting every year, yeah, unfortunately, you do have to request every year, simply because we've found out that people, if we don't do that, once the year ends and somebody leaves and they don't happen to come back, we're never told that they didn't come back. So we have open accounts that are using licenses that could be used by somebody else that we're still paying for. Any other questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike, for leading our discussion. But enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Have a great morning. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.